everybody. Welcome to the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and welcome back to a very noisy Nürburgring here today. I'm Chaz Draycott.
I'm Louise Schofield, and we are a very crucial part, aren't we? We're getting very loud cars coming through at the moment, so it's but it's all the roar of what the Nürburgring's all about, isn't it, right now?
Absolutely. We've got the ADAC GT Masters here with us this weekend. We've got some glorious GT3 cars. We've in fact in the pit lane just been joined by a delightful Aston Martin Vantage, which has just come and parked next to us. It's a lovely looking racing machine. Look at the colour of this thing, it's fantastic. But it's great to see over a race weekend that we get a big variety of cars around and obviously joining us in our racing trucks. But what a day we had yesterday, right? It was busy.
Absolutely, it really was. It was absolutely bustling as well, and we had a taste of the festival last night as well. Yeah. And you know what, it was absolutely lovely chatting to people, and you know, the people that had come here to watch the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, and they were in all good spirits, and you know, we had some fun down there, didn't we?
We absolutely did. We went down to the Mullenbach-Schleife, which is the bottom part of the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. They cut off a lot of the hairpin. You'll hear me explain it during the actual races themselves and during qualifying as well. But the hairpin at the bottom, the Goodyear carer at the bottom of the circuit, is basically turned into, it's like a massive festival ground, isn't it? With like a concert going on.
Oh yeah, there was live music going on, there was lines of trucks when people were just having a great time. There was paddling pools out. I think everyone was getting away from the sun for a little bit, but what a lovely way to, you know, finish off each day of the weekend. It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah, also on the Friday they had a country music festival there.
They did.
And then on the Saturday they had a bit more of a German, well, we call them dance anthems, didn't we?
Party anthems, absolutely.
Yeah,
and everyone was partying, which is what we love to see. So.
Yeah, definitely. There was people in cages, there was everyone enjoying a beer or two, and then the fireworks display, of course, which happens every year.
Yeah, so we weren't sure if that was going to go ahead, but we're so glad that it did in the end, and it's absolutely lovely. You know, what a lovely way to end the evening. I think it was very spectacular, and over all the lights of the trucks that were beeping and going off, it's something that you just don't get to see, and it was amazing, honestly.
Yeah, it's a very unique experience here at the Nürburgring for the Truck Grand Prix this weekend. But about the racing yesterday, an interesting race one where we saw an issue for Lucas Hahn and for René Reinert, a bit of contact, but Norbert Kish flying at the front once again.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes today as well. But you know, hopefully everyone's back on top form, and you know, and they can crack on as they mean to go on, I think.
Yeah, there was a lot of damage to a number of trucks in the afternoon yesterday. We saw Clement Hecker come into the pits about here as well, actually, with a broken right door. So they'd been clipped to the side, the door had been pushed forward. It wasn't able to close properly, so it was deemed unsafe by the technical delegates of the FIA, so he wasn't able to continue. But overnight we've had a disqualification for Luke Garrett as well from the second race of the day. His front axle was measured to be just too wide, 30 millimetres on something that's so big.
That's tight,
tiny margins, but at the end of the day, if it's not within the rules, it's not within the rules, right?
That's exactly it, and I think unfortunately that's just how it goes with these things, isn't it? And you know, but you've got to come back today, and you've got to come back strong. You know, we're on day 2, and you know, we've just got to keep going away with it, haven't we?
Yeah, we saw the team last night, and they sort of knew that it was going to come. They knew that's what was going to happen, but they've got to be in strong spirits today and to come back from that. I'm excited to see what Adam Lachko does today. He's joining us again for this weekend, but we didn't see much of him yesterday, did we?
No, that's it. We've joined by a few new drivers, haven't we? And I spoke to Emma Mackinnon yesterday. It's great to see another woman on the grid as well. How exciting! But this is it. So I think we'll hopefully try and catch up with him today. I think we're going to try and get that on the list, aren't we? Yeah,
there's a number of drivers that are race by race entrants, we call them. So they're not signed up for the full season. There's someone like Lucas Hahn, for example, who we have at just a number of rounds this season. Lucas is always very, very exciting. Adam Lachko joins us for, I think, just this round, maybe Most as well, but Most being his home circuit, why not?
Absolutely.
But Emma Mackinnon joining us for the big Truck Grand Prix as well. It's a hell of an event to join in with. But I want to speak to a few drivers today, including Jonathan Andre as well. He's always got a smile on his face. He's such a lovely guy. But again, we didn't see much of him in those battles yesterday, did we?
No, we didn't. So that's what I mean. That's what the weekend's all about, though, isn't it? It's kind of like seeing those people that we didn't get to see and seeing how they crack on as well. So I think it'll be really good to see how it goes.
Yeah, looking forward to qualifying. Of course, it's going to set the grid for the first race of the day. Second race of the day will then have the top 8 positions reversed. So even if Norby wins again, he will start 8th on the grid. But he usually makes quite a lot of progress. We saw him do a clean sweep at Slovakia, winning all 4 races, but he didn't make as much progress as we thought yesterday.
No, there was elbows coming out yesterday. I think there was it was interesting to see how it was going, and you know there was some tactics going on. I think yesterday I could see certain drivers, and they were getting their elbows in. But I think, you know, this you've got to do at the end of the day. You've got to do what you got to do to get to the top spot, haven't you?
Yeah, people were defending their positions quite heavily in the afternoon yesterday, and we've got a few people actually coming into the pit lane now, and I can see a man out of the corner of my eye. I'm going to try and make eye contact with him because he's a good old friend of mine, and I'm really hoping that we can get an interview with him and have a chat with him before the race comes on. He's just made eye contact with me. Let's get Terry in. Come here, Terry.
Yeah, there we go.
Come on.
Hey.
I'll tell you what, we'll walk. I'll tell you, Stefan Honens. How are you, Stefan?
All right.
How's the weekend going
I had a nice celebration yesterday with the German champion title. It was nice.
Yeah.
And the big stage was really great. Yeah.
Good stuff. What's the weekend?
Time ago that I've seen the bottom end there that full of people. Yeah. Nice.
I thought it was busy.
Huh?
I thought it was busy. It seemed busier than last year.
Huh? Busier than last year, for sure.
Yeah.
Double probably. Really busy. Really nice.
How's the weekend
You are all here. Thank you very much.
How is it going from John's perspective?
Better and better and better, honestly. Yeah. We're making progress at the moment, so see what the season brings still.
Yeah. It's difficult at the Nürburgring at the best of times, but with it being hot this weekend, is it any more difficult?
Definitely, yeah. Because the tires we have, if they overheat, then they drop off a cliff, and you know, there's a fine balance, like always, you know. But here, especially when it's hot, you know, engine power goes down. It's 800 meters high here, so air density is also low, so 100 horsepower missing.
Well, thank you very much, Stefan.
Have fun.
Cheers. Stefan Honens is a master truck builder. He is the guy behind John Newell's truck for this season, and he's got a wonderful team behind him as well. We also have Terry Gibbon. Terry, come on. We've got to have a word with Terry because he's. How are you, mate? I'm good. Are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Are you enjoying the sun?
Yeah, I can't beat it. Like we're back at home.
Oh yeah. Well, recently Terry took part in another championship racing in trucks, and you hadn't been behind the wheel for a long time, had you? You're more on the engineering developing side these days, but you enjoyed yourself in a lovely Welsh little circuit, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fantastic actually. Because the last time I drove properly was 19, so I thought it would be a bit rusty, but by the end of the weekend we got a win and drive the weekend, so it was good.
So one of the drivers in said championship unfortunately had to sit it out, but I imagine there was a lot of pressure jumping into a new truck, but from your side of things you were able to help the team quite a bit in terms of getting the truck set up for their own driver, their usual driver, weren't you?
That's it, that was the main purpose for me, going there, tried to help them because I've been friends with them for years, so I tried to help with the setup, bring the truck along, and by the end of the weekend we got it going pretty well.
What does that compare to when you're trying to keep John on a short leash for a weekend like this?
Oh, that's difficult at times.
Well, we hope you enjoy it, mate. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Terry Gibbon, and it's always lovely to speak to these guys because one thing we always remind people is that it's not just the drivers, is it?
No, it's not. It's a one truck family, which we've always spoken about as well. We've of course got a documentary which we do like to make sure that you're aware of as well.
Weekend, and she works in the transport industry, and it's funny because a number of these drivers and teams all link to other transport companies as well, so they get to talk shop about things like that, and it's really cool to see that they can have those conversations. There's another man here who's got my eye.
Look at
Come
that.
on, we'll bring him in.
Yeah.
Javier Martin. Come on, Javier.
Get on the telly.
Javier Martin from Goodyear.
Hello.
How are you, my friend?
Fine, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
How's your weekend going? Is everybody behaving themselves?
Yes. You know, here it's always a hard weekend, but because there is so many trucks, but it's so nice to see so many trucks on the grid. So yeah, we are okay, and everything went well. So I'm happy. You know.
You're always happy, aren't you?
Yeah, like you.
Yeah.
Like you, exactly. Yeah.
So next round of the championship is a long way away. What does the rest of the season look like for you? You're at every round, aren't you?
Yeah, it will be fast. You know, we have Most, Zolder, Le Mans, and Yarama, and nearly a little bit more than 1 month.
Yeah.
So wow, it will be, you know, fast. It's a race also. It's a race for everybody, for all the teams, not only for the driver. You know what I mean? So yeah, it will be. Everything normally should be okay.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much and have a good day.
Welcome. Yeah, for you. Ciao.
Cheers. Javier Martin, everybody. He's an absolute superstar. He does so much work in bringing all the tyres to the circuit. And we saw it at Misano, didn't we? There was so many tyres in the garages where they store them all.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And when you stood next to them, they are just big, aren't they? They're beasts, and it's interesting to see. And yeah, that's exactly it. And I think it's nice. It's just, again, like, it's lovely to see all of the people behind the scenes, and, you know, and it's for me learning about all of this stuff as well. It's really interesting, and, you know, how it all works. And, you know, there's so much that goes into it.
Really is. Well, I've got to go into my commentary position. I'm a bit luckier this weekend because it's literally this door here on this garage. So I'm going to head into that door, into my commentary box, that the lovely people at Vega, who are our production company, that have put this together for us. And I will see you in a short while.
There we go. Charles,
thank you very much.
Cheers.
See you
later. Well, there we go. Well, we are waiting for the grid to be open. We are going to have to... The weather's been so lovely. The truck's on the track. The time is running. The trucks are on the track. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes today for qualifying. The weather is absolutely loving it as well. We're very blessed with the weather this weekend, I think. I've heard in the Nürburgring it hasn't been the best over the past few years. So touch wood, we're going to keep that weather. Right, Chaz has walked a couple of miles into his little commentary box. So he's going to give you all the updates on what's going on right now. Back to you, Chaz.
Thank you very much, Louise. That's the easiest walk to the commentary box I've ever had. I'm not even out of breath. It's an absolute miracle. A big shout out, though, to the wonderful people here at Vega for looking after me so well, and they've built me a commentary box for the weekend. How cool is that? Hello, everybody, and welcome to qualifying for the third race of the weekend here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Certainly all excited here today to see how this goes. We've got fantastic conditions again at the Nürburgring, and it's certainly a great day to be a part of the ADAC International Truck Grand Prix. And we know that there's going to be a long, busy day ahead of these teams, which starts now here in the morning. It's just gone 9 a.m. as qualifying has started, and we're really, really looking forward to this. Interesting number of drivers out on the circuit, 19 of them for this weekend, and we have a few drivers hoping to prove a point today. Steffi Halm got herself a podium yesterday. It was her third podium of the season. She currently resides in 5th place in the Drivers' Championship, ahead of René Reiner, ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. So she's in the fight in the Titan category. She's not many points off the back of Jochen Hahn, in fact, only 8 points behind. Jochen is then only 7 points behind Antonio Albacete, who's then only 5 points behind Sasha Lenz. There's 20 points covering 2nd to 4th in the championship right now, so it is nice and close up there. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how the season progresses as we get into the second half. The first half of the season will technically be completed at Most in 7 weeks' time, when we head to Czechia for rounds 13 to 16. This weekend we have races 9, 10, 11 and 12, this qualifying session, to set the grid for race number 11. As you can see, the conditions are beautiful still here at the Nürburgring. Not a cloud in the sky here this morning. It was a lovely drive into the circuit through the fantastic countryside. Some beautiful views on the way. And we have the beautiful view of the number 1 machine of Norbert Kisch, just heading into the final couple of corners now. This big red MAN, Baloo Junior as it's known, doing a great job this season to have 8 race wins under his belt so far. Missed out yesterday on the podium, but 8 race wins out of 10 races. It's not a bad record, is it, even by Norby's standards? So we've got 1:53.3 for Norbert Kisch. He goes fastest. Sasha Lenz 2nd. Antonio Albacete 3rd. So they're going out in championship order for this first part of qualifying. Antonio goes up into 2nd place, ahead of Sasha, ahead of Jochen. Only, 8 thousandths of a second between Lenz and Hahn at the moment. Very close. 5 thousandths between Jose Eduardo Rodriguez and then Lucas Hahn. Then we have John Newell 7th, Steffi Halm in 8th place. She's a second off at the moment. Let's not forget that with this qualifying format, it is the top 12 drivers that go through into what we will normally call Q2, but because this is the second of these sessions on the weekend, it's very often referred to as Q4, 5 and 6. So what we're watching now is effectively Q4, which I'm not sure I like the sound of, but it's how it works. That's how we refer to these things. Antonio looks safe at the moment, though, less than 1/10 of a second off of Norbert Kisch. Some more times have come through. We're still waiting for René Reiner, Mark Taylor and Luke Garrett. There's René Reiner up to 8th place. Mark Taylor will then set a time. We'll see where that puts him on the grid. And Taylor has gone all the way up into 5th position. Looking at the timing screen, good stuff. It's just updated now at my end as well. There's Adam Lachko, hoping to speak to Adam today, as I mentioned to Louise earlier on. Really hoping to have a chat with Adam and catch up with him. It's been a long time since I've seen him at a circuit, and obviously the 2017 champion has a lot of heritage and a lot of history here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Currently finds himself, though, in 13th position, so he's not quite getting on with this Iveco as much as he would have liked. I know that we spoke to Terry Gibbon earlier, and he said that he was worried he'd be a bit rusty, but it looks like Adam needs to shake a little bit more of the rust off here this morning. 13th place for him. The other drivers that are currently going out of qualifying and not through into Q2 are Louis Requenco, Clemens Hecker, Luke Garrett, Emma Mäkinen and Stefan Kirsch, and it looks like it was Emma Mäkinen that was under investigation for overspeeding as well. And there's a bit of a traffic jam at the chicane. As you can see, Sasha Lenz and Louis Requenco is involved in that as well, and there is the confirmation. There is Emma Mäkinen on your screen. She's just had her lap time deleted for overspeeding. So on that previous circulation, there was an issue there. I did have a chance yesterday to have a lovely chinwag with Mark Taylor and his dad, Alan Taylor. And he did say there was nothing wrong with the truck. They said they had Csaba Backo down there. Norbert Kish even went over as well. They had a number of the suppliers and partners of the team head over and have a look. And it just seems like in the end, Mark just had too much of a heavy right foot. But I'm sure he'll be happy with the truck being that fast to get to 100 miles an hour. But yeah, he needs to chill it out a little bit out of the final corner today. I mentioned yesterday that the bridges can be a bit of an issue here at this circuit. So with the GPS tracking for the speed, basically the speed control on these trucks, they do lose that signal just as they get to 100 miles an hour here and go under some of the gantries out of the final corner. That's Clemens Hecker in the number 25 Scania, lovely looking racing machine. We saw a number of his team members last night down at the Mullenbach Schleife. Always good to catch up with them, and they're hoping for a much cleaner and simpler day today. I've noticed that despite the repairs, they don't have the number 25 on the windscreen of the truck, in fact, which is quite an interesting one. I wondered why it looked like something was missing. There's Louis Requenco, the number 64 Mercedes, beautiful machine, really good looking racing truck, and it's great to see the Mercedes brand back in the championship. It's a championship with a lot of history in truck racing. At one point, the truck racing program was only second to their Formula One program in their list of priorities, which shows you just how seriously Mercedes were taking it at the time in the some of the peak eras of truck racing that we've witnessed. There's some wonderful, wonderful images of some of the, funnily enough, green Mercedes over the years racing around here at the Nürburgring, racing around a number of circuits. It's great to see that because of the direct sunlight there, you could see Louis' gloves on the wheel, you could see his hands moving around, you can see what he was correcting here and there. And you can see every little input that he was putting in. Steffi Halman's just improved on her lap time, goes up to 5th place. So she's moved up from, I think she was in 10th position. Bradley Smith is inside the top 12 at the moment as well. John Newell is up there, so too is Lucas Hahn. Mark Taylor is the fastest in the Chrome class just now. So Taylor will be really pleased with that, and he's gone and done that without overspeeding, so well done, Mark. We are, by the look of it, missing a truck though, because we have 18 of them at the minute. And I don't see a 19th truck on the timing screen. Luke Garrett is out there. Emma Mäkinen, Stefan Kirsch. I'm going to try and figure out who is not out there at the moment, while Louise has a word with Mark Taylor.
Mark, how are you feeling about this?
Yeah, feeling good. We've just done the first qualifying lap.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a good time what we've put in. So next time when we go out, fingers crossed we can keep it all together and make it. Yeah.
There was a few ups and downs yesterday, wasn't it? But you're feeling confident about today?
Yeah, we're down for the last race because of the speed limiter. But the team's worked hard to resolve it, and we've been out on free practice, and hopefully today we should have no issues.
That's it. Fingers crossed for you, Mark. Thank you so much. There we go. Little update there for you. Right, Chaz, you can crack us on.
Thank you very much, Louise. Always good to hear from Mark. Like I say, we went down and had a chat with him in the paddock yesterday, and Charlotte, my girlfriend, was having a good chat with Alan Taylor about logistics and the inner workings of companies. It was a very, very interesting conversation. We've just had it confirmed that we've both been looking up and down the timing screen here, and it's Stefan Fast that is not on circuit, and Marine as well from Mark Taylor's team has just messaged me to confirm that too. So thank you very much, Marine. It's good to see him yesterday. I can't tell you what he was doing in the evening, but he was not the happiest boy. It was very funny actually for us. We all had a bit of a giggle at his expense, but I hope he's all right today. René Reinert currently making his way around the Mercedes arena, and he is in 10th place at the moment, just about making it through into Q2, because he is 0.967 off of Norbert Kirsch. He's only 0.03 of a second ahead of Adam Lachko, who is then only about 0.03 of a second faster than Bradley Smith. Bradley is 12th at the moment, right on the cusp, but he does have about 0.2 of a second, about a quarter of a second in fact, over Jonathan Andre, the French driver who joins us again this weekend in the gorgeous bright yellow Lion truck racing machine, the number 66. And he's just there, in fact, right in front of René Reinert. He's going to stay all the way over to the left. René's going to run to the right-hand side of the track, try and open up that next right-hander. He should be okay through there because they don't need to worry about washing off any speed. As long as they sit at that 160 kilometre an hour limit, then they are fine. As long as I can say it properly and they don't exceed it, all is good. Through the chicane, I love watching the shots through there. The cameraman doing wonderful things as the trucks bounce and wiggle their way through those curbs. René into the final corner. I mentioned the lack of window sticker on the front of Clemens Hecker's truck earlier on, and getting even more nerdy about it, René Reinert's window sticker, the number 77, doesn't have the outline around it for some reason. Maybe they ripped it when they were trying to put it on. René goes straight up to 3rd place though. He doesn't care enough about window stickers to worry about his lap time, but what a great job that is. 3rd position for him, and that will mean he is nice and comfortable. You can see the way he moved his arm onto the steering wheel there, nice and comfortable at the end of the first qualifying session of the day. The number 77 machine going well. It's always got good pace in it, that truck. It is the ex-Norbert Kish championship winning truck as well. That truck actually has a number of championships underneath its chassis. And I know that René is very pleased to be racing such a potent machine. The last time we saw him, of course, a few years ago, was in an Iveco. And he was having a bit of a tough season in that machine, but not necessarily down to the machine. He'd gotten a bit rusty. I think he was out for an injury for a while, and due to business commitments, but it's great to have him back in the paddock. There's Louis Requenco, currently 14th at the moment. If he improves by, well, he needs at least 0.8 of a second here, he will beat Bradley Smith into Q2, but no, I think he might have just been winding it up for a faster lap here, because, yeah, I mean, you'd hope so, because he was a good few seconds off the pace last time round. There's Adam Lachko really pushing the Iveco through the final chicane, a bit of a dust cloud on the exit. Luke Garrett behind him, with his now, I hope, narrower front axle. There's Adam making it round there. Nice and smooth. It looked really smooth. It didn't look like he was putting half as much lock on as he needed. You can see in the cockpit, he's looking down and around him there at the switches, making sure that he manages the water, manages a bit of everything, just to improve on his time. He did not improve, actually. 154.7. He had a better first sector, but didn't improve anywhere else. Bradley Smith has just gone a little bit quicker, and he's just opened up that advantage slightly over Jonathan Andre, but not by much. Not by much at all. He did a 154.3, did Bradley. And I think his lap before that might have been a 154.3 as well. I think he's only improved by a couple of hundredths of a second, but he's the driver right now that is on the edge. Jonathan Andre has just crossed the line, and he's done a 154.5, so he improved. He's 0.2 of a second behind Bradley now, but it's not enough to get him through into the next part of the session. René Reinert is going to come into the pit lane, but looking at the track map, we've got Stefan Kirsch and Clemens Hecker still to go. They're going to be heading into the final couple of corners now. I'm not sure if they're going to have a chance to get another lap in fact. I think that might be the end of the session for them, and Bradley Smith may just make it through. Checkered flag comes out. We'll see if anybody else is finishing a fast lap. Stefan Kirsch is staying where he is by the look of it. He does improve, but it's a 157.4, so he's about 3 seconds off of Bradley Smith just there, so Bradley won't feel too threatened by that. Clemens Hecker has crossed the line. He did not improve on that last lap, 157.8 for him, so not quite his best. He's got a 155.5 under his belt. Then Emma Mackinnon was the last driver to just cross the line there, and she hasn't improved on her time either. A 158.1 for Emma. Bit of a difficult session by the look of it there for the Finn, but she will be fired up for the first race of the day, which will come later on today. It's around 11 a.m. that we have the first race of the day. If I remember rightly, I'll just grab the timetable and have a look for you. Yeah, our show will start at about 11:40 today, so there's a bit of time between now and then. But we first have to go through the second and third parts of the qualifying session. There's John Newell. You could just see Stefan Honens next to the truck, who we had a quick word with a moment ago. John giving us some searing eye contact, but no wave. He's trying to psych us out, not just the drivers. But John is going to be nice and focused, ready to go. He'll be really pleased to get into the top 10 in that session. He said to me yesterday he was very happy with his race pace, but he just needs to work on the qualifying pace and get there. Second place at the moment is Antonio Albacete, just behind Norbert Kish, and he is with Louise.
Antonio, you had a great day yesterday. How are you feeling about today?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was good, and well, we will see today. I think it's going to be tight, at least in the second, third, and fourth places. So yeah, I mean, I will try to do my best and see if we can do the same as yesterday.
The conditions are very similar today, aren't they? So do you reckon it's going to be a similar ride to yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit earlier, so maybe a little bit faster, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be very much the same.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, well, best of luck, and let's get another one from yesterday. Thank you very much. There we go, Antonio Albacete there for you. Back to you, Shaz.
Yeah, Antonio will be very happy. Second place in qualifying yesterday, second place in the first race yesterday. He didn't have much progress made in the second race of the day. He was down to 7th, but we got the chance to speak to the ever wonderful Tim Frost in the evening. And Tim said that at the end of the day, it was another lesson learned, that race. They were very happy with the pace. They know that it's there because even though there was a move by Jochen that lost him a couple of places, he was able to stay with him at least, and they were able to match Jochen on pace, which is what they've wanted for a good while now. They've just wanted that consistent pace over the weekend rather than one session going their way and then the rest of the weekend being a bit of a question mark. There's Marcus from Mark Taylor's team keeping an eye on things, as now the big red MAN of Norbert Kish makes its way to the end of the pit lane. He's followed by Antonio Albacete. They will head out on track now in the order that they finished that last session. Now we just wait to see the timer tick down. Pit lane exit will open at 9:20 a.m. we are told, which is in a minute and a half's time. There's Bradley Smith. He's going to be back out on track in just a moment. There is our cameraman, Marco Purley, as he's known. He's an absolute star, always looks after me and Louise and makes sure that we don't even have to carry our own microphones around, bless him. He's a lovely, lovely guy. He's enrolled my girlfriend Charlotte as an assistant this weekend to carry the spare batteries for the camera, and she's been hauling them to and from the grid for us, which has been lovely. There you see a fantastic shot of the trucks lined up at the end of the pit lane. So the order they will go out in is Norbert Kish, Antonio Albacete, René Reinert, Sascha Lenz, Jochen Hahn, Steffi Hallman 6th place, Mark Taylor 7th ahead of Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Then it'll be Lucas Hahn, John Newell, Adam Lachko and Bradley Smith. And it's a good thing I read that out that quickly because it's just disappeared from my timing screen. And the trucks will be back out in just a moment. Emma Mäkinen heading down there to go to scrutineering. She'll head through into the paddock actually at that bottom end of the pit lane. Scrutineering is at the other end, I should know that by now. There goes the number 28 Mad Croc Iveco. Love the livery on that thing. We had a good walk through the paddock yesterday and had a good look at that. It's a great looking race truck. And now we will get the pit lane open. 9:20 a.m. is it? Lovely shot there from on the pit wall. Great aperture on that camera to blur out that bar. And you see John Newell and the squad leaving the end of the pit lane. Sascha Lenz there in 4th place, Jochen Hahn in 5th. Jochen qualified in, I think it was 2nd place in Q1 yesterday, then 3rd place in Q2, and then by Q3 he was down in 4th position. Hopefully that doesn't carry on, because in effectively Q4 he's now gone 5th, and then that would mean he'd go 6th in the next session. So we'll have to see if he follows that trend, Jochen Hahn. I'm sure he won't want to, because Jochen wants to go well around here at the Nürburgring. He has 1 podium so far this weekend, finishing 3rd in the first race. He overtook Sascha Lenz in race 1. but then again he was 6th in yesterday's second race. The top 4 in the championship finished 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th in yesterday's race, and funnily enough 5th, 6th and 7th in the championship finished 1st, 2nd and 3rd. So it was a nice little flip of the Titan category in yesterday's afternoon race. There is Antonio Albacete, who Louise just spoke to, and he is showing off that beautiful MAN of the T-Sport Bernau squad. They used to run a livery that was much more white with the dark blue sort of elements on it, but now of course it has adorned on the side of it the big yellow and red Spanish colours for Antonio in this big dark blue colour scheme. It's always a really well presented truck, and so are the team, to be fair. T-Sport Bernau always do a great job, and they've got a massive amount of hospitality, and always everything, every fine detail is really perfected. Again, when we walked through the paddock yesterday, it was one of the things that we noted the most, especially here at the Truck Grand Prix. All of the teams really turn out every tiny little detail. Tank Pool 24, Stefan Fars's team. Stefan unfortunately not taking part in this session, maybe too worried about what colour the bolts are on his tractor unit, but yeah, it was certainly a lot of detail went into every little element of their setup yesterday afternoon. A lot of effort goes into the setup of that machine there, the number 1 MAN of Norbert Kish. This truck and this driver has been dominating the championship for the last couple of years, and they continue to do so with wonderful prowess. They make my job difficult in a way, but in the best of ways, because I sometimes struggle to find new words to explain to you all how good they are. Across the line he goes then. You can hear Norby's truck roaring past the window here in the commentary box. It just makes a slightly different noise to everyone else's. It just sounds so aggressive. It's very almost monster-like. But he leads Antonio Albacete, René Reinert, Sascha Lenz, Jochen Hahn and Steffi Halm across the line. Following them will be Mark Taylor, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, Lucas Hahn, John Newell, Adam Lachko and Bradley Smith to complete the 12 trucks in this second part of qualifying. The top 6 from this session will go through into the final bit of qualifying, which will be just a 5-minute session. So they go from 15 minutes to 10 to 5. And then that will be quite the sprint to the end, considering it's nearly 2 minutes a lap here at the Nürburgring. As you can see in the bottom right of your screen, we have our own documentary, the One Truck Family documentary. If you scan the QR code on screen now, you'll be able to watch that on YouTube, but obviously have that open on a separate tab so you can keep your eye on qualifying and then watch that later in the break between now and the first race of the day. Maybe even save it for the big break that we've got of around 3 hours between races 1 and 2 today. There you can see Norbert Kish really pushing there. Look at how much rubber has been put down on the circuit this weekend. In these hot conditions, the track is absolutely caked in rubber on the racing line. I've never seen the Nürburgring look so slick with all these black streaks of rubber around. Norbert Kish into the chicane once more. Again, staying clear of the penalty markers, staying clear of those curves. Look at that back axle, hop, skip and jump over the curve there. The back axle was very much along for the ride there as the front really tipped it in. Just always looks like it's got such purpose mid-corner, does Norby's truck. It always looks so squatted but so set on its ways. And across the line he goes. It's a 1:52.7 for Norbert Kish. That is a very, very quick time. I think that's quite a lot quicker than what we saw yesterday. Next up goes Antonio Albacete. Next up goes René Reinert. Lenz goes 3rd. Jochen Hahn goes 4th. Steffi Halm goes into 6th position. Steffi not having the qualifying that she would want so far. Just checking, yeah, the pole time yesterday in Q3 by Norbert Kish was a 1:53.3, so he's gone 0.6 of a second faster than that. In Q2 yesterday, he also did a 1:53.3, so 0.6 quicker this morning than he went in, not yesterday's qualifying, sorry, in Friday's qualifying. Fantastic stuff by Norbert Kish. So far then, it's him, Antonio, then it's Sascha Lenz, Jochen Hahn, René Reinert and Mark Taylor. Those are the 6 drivers going through into the final qualifying session of the weekend. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez is in 7th. Lucas Hahn is in 8th place. Lucas not quite as on it today as he was yesterday. I didn't find out what the issue was with the truck after his contact with René Reinert, but doesn't seem to have been able to really switch it back on yet. Steffi Halmer's down in 9th ahead of John Newell. Adam Lachko is 11th and Bradley Smith currently finds himself in 12th position. Mark Taylor and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, 2 teammates this year in the championship. They find themselves side by side heading into the hairpin. And And you can see now the mixture of trucks that are remaining on potential fast laps and the trucks that are going to just calm it down and come back into the pits. There is Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Good to see his father, Jose Rodriguez, here at the circuit again, always supporting his son. I think Eduardo Rodriguez was here as well, actually. I'm pretty sure we saw him in the paddock yesterday. But it's a bit of a calm before the storm now, this part of the session. A lot of the drivers will slow it down, get the temperatures back into a more reasonable location. And then it will be time to go again for another lap. I imagine the likes of Adam Lachko and Bradley Smith will try again. There they are, actually, together on track. They're currently in 11th and 12th places. I know that Steffi Halm will want to put another lap in because, well, she's 9th at the minute, and that's not where we usually see Steffi. She's definitely got the capability to move up the order higher than that and get into Q3. Even with the bigger grid this weekend, still fiercely competitive. And that top 6 is a very strict cut-off. There's not many trucks to go through and try and put in a better lap. Adam Lachko here on screen. 2017 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Champion is Adam Lachko. He is the only driver, aside from Norbert Kish and Jochen Hahn, to win a title in the last 14 years. Norby winning 7 of them, Jochen winning a good 6 of those titles, and Adam winning the 1 title in the middle of it all in 2017. Again, comes across the line now, gets back up to speed. You can see him have a quick look down at some of the panels and some of the information inside the cab. And he heads into the first corner, hard on the brakes, tries to keep it nice and tidy. This will be his only opportunity for a lap, really, because there's just 2 minutes left of the session. And even if he backs out of this one and slows it down again, I don't think he will make it across the line for another go. Through turn 2, down the hill into 3. Watch the truck nosedive now as he gets on the brakes. Puts a lot of pressure on that front right tyre as it leans its way through the corner. Out of the Mercedes arena now, needs to tidy up the weight transfer, get it over to the right. Don't hit the curb too hard. Don't slide it out too far on the exit, because there's a penalty marker there that will give you a good shouting at. And down this not quite straight into turns 5 and 6. Hard on the brakes, moving across to the apex on the brakes. V off the corner, as we call it. You hit the apex early, run wide midway through, and then hit the apex on the exit. Careful on that curb there, it's really tall on the exit. Can really upset these trucks. Use a lot of the concrete runoff on the right-hand side into the on-cambered turn 7. And then again, over a bit of a crest into turn 8, the Bilsteinkehre. Make sure that you don't use too much of that curb on the exit as well. Another penalty marker there, a little bit of dust kicked up. And now on the throttle, holding it at 160 kilometers an hour down towards turn 9. And he will go up the hill again into the chicane of which Lucas Hahn has just made his way out of. Lucas is in 8th place right now, and he runs to the line to try and improve on his time and move back up there. Let's see what he does. Does he head into the top 6? Well, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez has improved on his time, and he's moved up into 6th position, and Mark Taylor is knocked out of 6th place. Lucas Hahn currently in 8th. And it doesn't look like that's going to change. Adam Lachko has crossed the line and has not improved. Bradley Smith has, but it's not enough for him to move up another place. René Reiner, it seems, has backed out of his latest lap. Looks like Steffi Halm is trying to improve again, but she hasn't improved in that first sector. Checkered flag is out. And Adam Lachko has to dive right out of the way there of Bradley Smith. He was going a bit slowly through the left-hander, and I think he decided that that lap was done. There is Lucas Hahn. Don't think he'll be too pleased with 8th position. He'll be pleased that he got through to Q2, but I think he would have been hoping for another Q3 here at the Nürburgring. He always goes really well here on home soil. There's Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Just makes his way into Q3 by, wow, I mean, what would that be, 12 thousandths of a second? Incredibly close. Oh, Bradley Smith still on a lap there. Jose Eduardo, I don't think, wanted to be in the way. I don't think anybody ever wants to be in the way, but stayed over to the right-hand side to stay what he thought would be clear of Bradley Smith. And unfortunately, that might affect Bradley's time a little bit. It looked like he was still carrying on. We'll see in the next shot. No, Bradley did back out of that. Oh, that's gutting. It did look like he was going to be caught out. He was on a different line through that left-hander. I imagine Bradley and his dad Tony won't be too chuffed with Jose Eduardo Rodriguez for that one. Not sure too much could have been done, but yeah, I don't expect that he knew there was another truck coming. There is Norbert Kish, ready for the final part of qualifying. So too is Sascha Lenz. He's made it through in 3rd position, and he's with Louise.
Here we go. Let's have a quick catch up with Sascha Lenz. Sascha, how's that qualifying going so far for you?
Yeah, very good. I have a good lap, so we are in Q3. Yeah, we will see.
And you're on home turf as well, so it must be great to be at the Nürburgring. It must be such a good experience for you.
Yeah, it's really nice. You know, we have so many people come to me and so many autographs and selfies. But it's the one time in the year I like it and I give my best.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's nice to just have the community here, isn't it? And like see all your fans, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm really happy.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck. Thank you so much. And we'll catch up with you soon. There we go. A little catch up there for you. Right. Shaz, crackers on.
Thank you, Louise. Great to hear from Sascha Lenz. He's got a very busy weekend ahead of him here because he's not only racing in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, but there's a dedicated Truck Grand Prix Championship as well this year that he's also racing in. He's using one of John's old trucks, John Newell's old trucks. Obviously, the two of them teammates and very good friends, but he's using one of John's trucks this weekend in that championship as well. So he's got a heck of a lot of work to do, has Sascha Lenz. There is his teammate John Newell going through. John will start the 3rd race of the weekend, 10th on the grid. There are the marshals of the ADAC on standby in those iconic ADAC overalls. There is Rene Reinert making his way through as well. Lovely camera shot there from our cameraman. Shows you the size of these racing machines when they're right up against the fence like that on the pit wall. It really is a sight for sore eyes. It's wonderful. I love being able to come here in the mornings to see the warm-up sessions and get nice and early at the circuit to really stand close to the trucks as they head out there. I suppose one of the curses of being a commentator on the championship is you don't actually get to be outside and watch the races yourself, but I've got the best seat in the house really when it comes to it and all the information given to me, so young Chaz would be a very happy boy to know that he's got this sort of access to a championship like this. Norbert Kish then, fastest in Q2 or Q5, depending on how you want to name it. Antonio Albacete 2nd with Sascha Lenz, the man that we just spoke to, in 3rd. Jochen Hahn in 4th place, Rene Reinert 5th, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in 6th. So once again, it's all Titan drivers into the 3rd and final part qualifying, as you'd expect as well on paper. The Titan category is considered if it was effectively like a Pro and Am class, it's the Pro class for the drivers. It's based on their previous achievements in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship, or failing that, it depends on their FIA certification. So if a Pro driver, for example, just came in and decided, oh yeah, I'd like to give truck racing a go. Obviously, if they were a Gold or Platinum driver, for example, then they could not be considered a Chrome driver in case they walked away with it with their obviously proven skills behind the wheel. Lovely 2x3 formation there. It's almost like a starting grid that they are preparing at the end of the pit lane. It'd be funny if they just told them to go and had them sort of launch off like a race start, wouldn't it? But obviously that would be unsafe, and we don't do things unsafely here. So the top 3 are on the right-hand side of your shot. Norbert Kish, Antonio Albacete and Sascha Lenz. And then the next 3 on the left-hand side, Jochen Hahn, Rene Reinert and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. So I mentioned earlier that Jochen went from 2nd to 3rd to 4th to 5th in the qualifying sessions so far. He went back up to 4th in that one, so maybe he'll follow some sort of pattern and go up into 3rd place in this one. We'll see. I know that he wants to be on the front row alongside Norbert Kish, especially here at the Nürburgring at the Truck Grand Prix, the biggest event of the year for truck racing. Last year we had over 180,000 fans here across the weekend, which is a colossal amount. And as Stefan Honens rightly said earlier, when we went to the Mullenbach Schleife yesterday. It's the busiest we've seen it in years at the bottom down there. It was absolutely wonderful. We had the fireworks display and the annual slogan. The slogan was 40 years with you, but in German, of course. So I think it's 40 Jahre mit euch. And I'm really sorry to any German fans listening that if I've butchered that one. I know the director is probably going to shout at me if I've got it really badly wrong. So I'll know, trust me. Either way, Norbert Kisch leads them around very slowly at the moment. A nice chilled outlap. But how cool is that backdrop there? Look at the forest in the background. It just fills the shot. It's one of my favourite shots in truck racing, that, as they come out of that hairpin there. The trucks are usually sideways. There's a bit of dust. There's a bit of drama. You can see the cranes and things in the background of the Mullenbach Schleife. And then again through the Bilsteinkette, through this chicane here, you can see the old roller coaster at the Nürburgring, the Mercedes Arena, the massive grandstands here on the start-finish straight. Every single angle of the Nürburgring is exciting. You know, it's such a great, legendary circuit to be at, even if we are just, quote-unquote, just using the Grand Prix circuit and not the Nordschleife. It would be amazing to see what sort of time one of our race trucks could do around the Nordschleife, but again, the question of safety with a 5-ton racing machine on the Nordschleife would definitely be raised. So 2 minutes 45 left on the clock now. Norbert Kisch heads into the final corner, leading the session. You can see him winding it up left and right a little bit there, just to make sure he's got the steering all set, make sure the tyres are feeling good. I'm sure they will underneath him as they run on these fantastic 60% sustainable Goodyear tyres for this year. Goodyear, again, the title partner of the championship and doing a wonderful job at being the tyre supplier. It was great to speak to Xavier Martin earlier on, wasn't it? Really good to hear from Xavier. He's an absolute star of the paddock. He works so hard. It's lovely to see him enjoying himself out there in the sun. Looks like Antonio and Sasha and Jochen all really pushing the back end of the truck and the exit out of that first corner there. The back end sliding out sideways. Look at the lean there from Balou Jr., the big red MAN of Norbert Kisch, going one way then the other. Really, really big amount of movement, but all the time the truck just looks so stable and sorted. It just seems to go through mid-corner and exit of corner so well. And Norby has just got this thing working so well for him. A little bit of a dust kick up on the exit there, and again on the way into the left-hander at turn 7. Up over the crest, you could really see the camber there from the way that the circuit sort of rises above the trucks in our camera shot. You can see that they get slightly obscured by the way that the circuit twists one way then the other. Norby now up to 160 kilometers an hour, up towards the chicane once more. Interesting to see that Albacete, Lenz and Hahn followed quite closely in the earlier parts of the lap. The four of them together. Jochen Hahn seems to have this tactic in the qualifying sessions where he tries to get right behind Norbert Kisch and get as close to him as possible. Instead of leaving a big gap to the machine ahead, he likes to fill the mirrors and put a bit of pressure on. Let's see what lap times they can do then. Norbert Kisch went flying faster than everybody else in Q2 earlier on. It's a 52.9 in this session. He did a 52.7 earlier on. Jochen Hahn does go second fastest, a 1:53.3, a tenth of a second faster than Sascha Lenz and a tenth of a second faster than Albacete. Albacete was very happy with being second on the grid in the earlier session, but this time hasn't quite worked for him. So it's Kisch from Hahn, Lenz, Albacete, Reiner and Rodriguez. So the interesting change is that Jochen Hahn, in terms of the order they went out on the circuit anyway, Jochen Hahn and Antonio Albacete have swapped places. Jochen back up into second after being the fourth truck out on track, and Antonio, after being the second truck out on track, dropping down into fourth place. Norbert Kisch has pulled over at the side. I think he might have sacked off that first sector. He did actually do another purple sector 1 just there, but clearly doesn't need to push it too hard. Antonio really pushing into the hairpin. That is classed as 2 corners down there at turns 5 and 6. Into 7. Looks like Jochen Hahn has backed out of his lap, so he's happy where he is at the moment. But both of these guys, Antonio Albacete and Sascha Lenz, hoping to improve. I can confidently say that neither of them have improved in the first sector so far. There's an improvement for Jose Eduardo Rodriguez, though. He's actually gone a little bit quicker in that first sector. See whether he can complete this lap and improve his position, maybe ahead of René Reinert. I think he had an issue on that opening lap, actually, did Jose Eduardo. So, yeah, he's 6.3 seconds down on René Reinert. So, yeah, I didn't notice the massive gap there, actually. Sorry. But he's clearly had some sort of issue in that previous circulation. Let's see what Antonio Albacete can do. No improvements so far on this lap, though. Not sure if he's going to be able to drag it back up there. Let's see whether he improves in the final sector. He does not. 153.9, 153.9 for both of them. So, unfortunately, no improvements there, and they will both be starting this third race of the weekend, first race of the day, from the second row of the grid. What about Jose Eduardo Rodriguez? Does improve, of course, because he had about 6 seconds to find, but he is still 0.47 of a second off the back of René Reinert. So the top 6 on your grid will be Norbert Kish, Jochen Hahn, Sascha Lenz, Antonio Albacete, René Reinert, and Jose Eduardo Rodriguez. Jochen Hahn stays on track to do another lap of honour, maybe cool the truck down slightly with another run around. But there is your pole sitter. Once again, Norbert Kish at the top of the timing sheets, and a wonderful, wonderful session for him. At 152.7 in Q2 was absolutely rapid. Very, very quick lap time around here at the Nürburgring. Albacete will feel a bit disappointed in that. He knows that he can go to the front row of the grid. He's done it already this weekend and finished in second place in race 1, but it looks like race 3 might be a little bit more difficult for him from the second row of the grid. Sascha Lenz, same goes for him as well. He's not having a bad weekend though, is Sascha, but we know that in front of his home crowd here, with such a busy day on his hands, he's got a lot of track time this weekend, but in 2 different trucks. I imagine that Sascha will be trying his hardest to get more out of that third race. I'm going to apologise ahead of time here in case it goes loud in the commentary box, because as mentioned, we do have the ADAC GT Masters with us this weekend, and the garage that we are sharing with seems to be one of the scrutineering bays or one of the sort of parc ferme bays or something for some of the teams. I think we're okay, actually. I just saw that some of the cars had come in and I was worried that they were going to start them up and fire them up, but it seems like they're just pushing them out of the garages, which is very considerate of them. There's the Mercedes Arena. As you can see, even though it's not packed at the moment, everybody is still confining themselves to the shade to make sure they stay nice and cool, because the sun here is very intense this weekend. Even though it is only 9:45 in the morning, it is mighty spicy, the sunshine here today. And then yesterday afternoon, after our second race, when we went on what we called walkies, it was just baking hot. There's the gorgeous scenery here in the Nürburgring region, around the Nürburgring. The Eifel region is absolutely stunning. Always enjoy coming here. So too does Norbert Kish, by the look of it. 152.9 in qualifying puts him on pole position for the third race of the weekend. Jochen Hahn will start alongside him, with Sascha Lenz and Antonio Albacete on row 2. Then we have René Reinert in 5th place, Jose Eduardo Rodriguez in 6th, ahead of Mark Taylor and Lucas Hahn. Those two are going to have a great fight for the chrome win in race 3. I can feel it. Steffi Halm will start 9th. She'll be a bit disappointed with that qualifying performance. John Newell will complete the top 10. Then we'll have Adam Lachko and Bradley Smith alongside one another on row 6. Jonathan Andre will join Louis Requenco on row 7. Next up, we'll have Clemens Hecker. He's alongside Luke Garrett. And then it's Stefan Kirsch and Emma Mäkinen on the 9th row of the grid. Stefan Faas will, I imagine, start from 19th place on the grid. That's it from me for now, though. I'm going to hand back down to Louise, and I will catch you again later on.
And there we go. That is the qualifying there for you. But don't you worry, race 3 is on the way. We're going to be back with you at 11:30 to give you everything that's going to go on for race 3. We shall see you then.